What's going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Ty, the Lego guy here, and welcome to another episode of Ty's Talks. We're in episode 13, which is kind of crazy. But I have to say, guys, this one in particular, I think is my favorite Ty's Talks as far as questions go. Like, you guys had some that just, I loved some of them, like that. Well, a lot of them. They're just really good questions. Keep it up, basically, is what I'm saying. And again, if you guys have questions for next episode, just leave them in the comments, and I'll get to them in Ty's Talks episode 14. But yeah, a lot of interesting ones. You got me thinking, and yeah, just all in all, really good questions. But anyways, enough talk. Let's get right into it. And our first question comes to us from AM Productions, and he asks, at what age you started YouTube? I was 11, started daily vlogging, but now I upload every single day, so you can give me some tips. So I thought that this was actually a really good question, because if you're just starting off YouTube, you're kind of looking for some recommendations. So I was in my 20s when I started YouTube, a lot older than you, and or when you started. And as far as daily vlogging, I think it's not bad. Just make sure that you have content, because you're kind of fast tracking it by uploading every single day, which is great. However, that puts a lot of strain on you. So just make sure your quality is good. For me, it took a while to get a bunch of different series ideas. Like it took about a year to finally get 5 to 10 good series ideas that I can, put out every Friday, and then you're doing reviews. Vlogging, I kind of do that with the Search for the Holy Legos. So basically my advice to you would be just don't stress yourself out too much by doing every day. If you can't do it every day, do it every second day. Make sure your content's good, and allow time to basically brainstorm, because if you're doing every day, that's going to force you to think of ideas. But just if you don't have an idea one day, don't beat yourself up for it. Just work with it. Maybe you only put one video out for the week, but it's a really good video. So basically, just try and at least get a video out once a week. And then if you have more ideas for that week, then do it. If you don't worry about it. But basically, don't stress yourself out is what I'm saying, and keep the creative fluids going. And our next question comes to us from JH, and he asks, what's your opinion on the 2000s Arctic theme? Do you like it or not? And dude, yes, that's one of the most nostalgic themes I have. Like, the 2000 Arctic theme is part of the reason why I love the Arctic themes nowadays. Like, they're kind of like a lot like it. However, they're just improved and upgraded. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Arctic theme, and I'm actually happy Lego's been doing it surprisingly. Like, they did one in 2014, they just did one in 2019. So yeah, the Arctic theme is alive and well, and I think a lot of people like it because yeah, they're still making them to this day. And our next question comes to us from LASIK82, and he says, what's your girlfriend or previous girlfriends thinks about your Lego hobby? They didn't think it was a weird hobby for an adult person? P.S. You're the nicest Lego YouTuber. So thank you very much for that, man. I'm just doing what I can. And as far as your question goes, yeah, basically if a girl was snarky, she'd have issues with it. If she was normal, she just would think it's maybe like a funny, cute hobby. So that's kind of where it's at with that. I mean, there's a lot weirder things to like. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. I probably wouldn't be the first thing I mention when I meet someone, but yeah, if she's not okay with that, then there's an issue with her, honestly, because Lego is awesome. It's just a way, what's the difference between having like this Y-wing on your table or having like a model car? They're both intricate, they're both cool. So yeah, I don't really think it's a big issue if you find the right person, is basically what I'm saying. And our next question comes to us from Miha, and he asks, did you like the Star Wars planet sets? Awesome video, by the way. So thanks, man. And yeah, I liked them. I thought that they were sometimes a little boring, but I thought that the minifigs you'd get with the Planet Series sets were actually kind of awesome. Like, a lot of times you get some exclusive minifigs, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so yeah, I liked them. They weren't my favorite theme, however, they definitely weren't the worst theme. And again, those like minifigs you get in a lot of those sets were absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I was a fan of them. And hopefully Lego maybe brings something like that back in the near future. And our next question comes to us from Andrew, and he asks, here's a question for you. As I scrolled through the list of direct-to-consumer sets that I don't own. There are many I'd love to have. What's the direct-to-consumer set you'd most like to have in your collection? So this was a great question. Okay, Barracuda Bay is probably my number one. However, I own that one. If I'm gonna say other ones, I couldn't really decide, but the Jurassic Park one with the T-Rex and the big gate is an awesome set. The Stranger Things, the upside down house is also an awesome set, where you have the upside down and you have it in normal life. Another great set is the diner and also the Batmobile. But you know what? The one I think I want the most is probably the Batman Batmobile, the 1989 one. I think that one looks fantastic. I actually got some pictures from, actually Zerar, you sent me some of them, and it looks just incredible. So that's probably the number one direct-to-consumer set I'd like to own. And our next question comes to us from Ryman, and he asks, hey Ty, are you a fan of the Elder Scrolls video game series? If so, what would you think about Elder Scrolls themed Lego sets? Some of the games are R-rated, so low chance, but still. Dude, I absolutely love the Elder Scrolls. In fact, my brother-in-law was the one who got me into them. And some friends as well, and I think they're great. Like, if they made Lego sets for that, I'd be thrilled. Like, I love Castle. Maybe it could be like a remake of Castle, but it's Elder Scrolls themed. However, you're right about that. It's extremely unlikely it will ever happen. I mean, they said that they didn't want to make Jedi Fallen Order Lego sets because it was rated teen. So Elder Scrolls is at least rated teen, if not M. So it probably will never happen. However, I think it would be awesome if they did. I would buy them all. And our next question comes to us from Karmalink, and I really like this one. He asks, which one minifigure do you think is most iconic? Not licensed minifigs, but original Lego minifigs. Okay, so Brickbeard's one of them. He's very iconic, or Redbeard or whatever, but who I think is the most iconic Lego minifig is probably Johnny Thunder. This guy is fantastic. They've had 4 themes with him in it, and they've all been phenomenal. Even Dino Island, which was probably the worst, was still fantastic. But the question is, who's the most iconic? I think it's Johnny Thunder. He's basically like Lego's version of Indiana Jones. The sets were phenomenal. Yeah, there's guys like Flatfoot Thompson and stuff like that from the Wild West theme, but Johnny Thunder takes the cake. Like, he always had a story with him. Ninjago's pretty high up there as well, but I don't think any one of those characters can compete with Johnny Thunder. I just think he's the GOAT, and I love older sets. So yeah, probably Johnny Thunder. That's I think the most iconic Lego minifig that Lego's ever produced. And our next question comes to us from Loki Lego, and he asks, what is your favorite Lego promotional set that you have in your collection? So by set, I didn't know exactly like perfectly what you mean by that, but if you mean like if it can be a minifigure, like definitely the Darth Revan minifig that they had as a promo, he was phenomenal. I really wish they'd make a standard Lego set just with him in it, although just getting Revan was fantastic. Like, by far that's my favorite minifigure. As far as a set, my favorite promotional set I think they've ever given us, it's probably one of the latest micro builds that they've given us. Endor wasn't bad, but probably the best one was the Battle of Hoth. I do think that one's actually pretty good. The Death Star battle is probably the worst one, but definitely for a set, probably that, because I mean, just a $20 promo out of nowhere, and it's actually a decent looking Battle of Hoth. I think it's fantastic. They actually got the shield generator right, but if we're saying just like a minifigure included, definitely the Revan. He even beats the Hoth micro build. I just think that that's a fantastic minifig. I love the Old Republic, and yeah, he's just 10 out of 10 on Lego's part for giving us him. And our next question comes to us from Ola Beck Gaming. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It's also Big Chonker. And he asks, what is your favorite Lego Y-Wing build? So, if we're talking minifig scale, definitely the 2017 Rogue One Y-Wing. This thing's fantastic. It's like a micro UCS set. I absolutely love it. I think Lego just knocked it out of the park. If we're talking just a Y-Wing in general, it's gonna be the, I wanna say 2018 Y-Wing. I just think this set's fantastic. That's set 75181. by far the best Y-Wing Lego's ever put out, and I can't wait to build it. We actually voted for it on a live stream and it didn't come up. However, it's just a great all-in-all model. Like, by far that's my favorite Y-Wing, but if we're going minifig scale where you don't like break the bank to buy it, definitely the 2017 Lego Y-Wing. And our next question comes to us from Builder Bro, and he asks, do you ever think that Lego will reintroduce the castle theme? So this is a good question. We've had similar questions like this in the past. I really hope that Lego does. With the success of Barracuda Bay, Lego may be looking back to its classic themes like space, castle, pirates. When it's gonna happen, I'm not sure. Like the last big one was back in 2010. So we're about due for a new castle theme. I think that if we continue to have like Lego sets, like Lego idea sets, like Barracuda Bay do well, I definitely think that we could possibly see more castle sets in the future, just because that is kind of like a classic theme as well. But is it gonna happen anytime soon? I'm not sure. Like it could happen a year from now, or it could happen 10 years from now, because it's already been 10 years. I really hope it does happen, but basically, I'm not sure. It probably will happen. I just can't give you a date on when it's gonna happen. And our next question comes to us from Miha, and he asks, which of the old raised base plates would you like to see reintroduced? So, the 90s ones. This one comes from the Rapid River Native American Wild West set. Just even a simple base plate like that would be fantastic. However, if we want to go crazy, these are the Pirate 90s base plates, and look how fantastic that is. This is a very expensive base plate, by the way. Like it retails for like 30 US. Shouldn't say retail, on the aftermarket goes for about 30 US. Or this is from the Adventure line, and this is the Amazon Ancient Ruins set. If they gave us something like this, I'd be happy with all of them, but I'd even just be happy with the simple base plates like the Rapid River one. Like if they did that, I'd be thrilled. I think that would be fantastic, but who knows if Lego will ever come back to base plates like that. They might. There's a high chance for this because they do roads, and what's the difference between that and a road? I don't see it being that much more complicated, but I would love to see these ones. The raised base plates are basically the bee's knees. Yeah, I hope that answers that question. I'd love to see those reintroduced into Lego. And our next question comes to us from Gennardo, and he asks, do you want Lego to bring back base plates? What I mean is the specialized printed ones from the 90s Lego themes, such as Adventures, Castle, etc. So I think we just answered that. Definitely, I'd love to see them bring raised base plates back. And those would probably be the three main ones I'd love to see reintroduced. There was other ones like in the space theme and whatnot, but these ones really take the cake for me. If they did that, I'd be absolutely thrilled. And our next question comes to us from V8HBar, and he asks, Ty, do you have a favorite muscle car? If so, would you build it in Lego? So I do. My favorite muscle car is probably a Camaro. Talking like the 2017 and up. I just think that they look fantastic. And would I ever make it into Lego? Yeah, I might actually. If that gets voted enough on like a Lego MOC, on my Lego MOC series, where I just do a smaller scale MOC, medium to smaller scale, that might be something I actually make, like a two-door Camaro, because we're not going to do a one-door Camaro. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, great question, and yeah, I hope to do one of those in the future. You just gave me basically some good ideas for that series. And our next question comes to us from Miha, and he asks, if you had the power to remove one Lego theme that is available now forever, what theme would that be? Okay, if that's available now, if we'd say in the past, it would definitely be Galador or Fabuland. However, if we're to say now, probably Friends. It's not because I think the builds are bad. I actually think the builds are good, but I am not a big fan of the mini doll. Like, Paradisia did a huge, way better job as far as like creating a girl theme, because it's still mixed in nicely with, a boy's theme. Whereas Paradisia, the builds are good, but then once you throw the minifigs in there, it's just this huge dividing mark between a Lego man and a Fabuland or a Friends doll. So yeah, that would probably be the one theme I'd get rid of, just basically because of the mini doll. It's not because the builds are bad. And our next question comes to us from Jawa, and he asks, if you could live on any Star Wars planet, what would it be? I would love to live on Naboo or Coruscant. So dude, great minds think alike. Naboo would be fantastic. I think that's where I'd normally live, on Naboo. That planet's just absolutely beautiful. Like, just a gorgeous planet. Lakes and, you know, lush green hills and mountains. Like, it's fantastic. But I view Coruscant kind of like New York. So if I could go like to the upper levels, not the lower levels, because it actually was pretty dangerous. If you actually look into the lore on that. But yeah, the upper levels of Coruscant I think would be pretty cool as well, but I probably would want a vacation there. I wouldn't want to live there, if that makes sense. I definitely probably choose Naboo. And our next question comes to us from Commander Cody Productions, and this is actually our last one. And he asks, if you would move anywhere else in Canada, where would you move to in Canada? So I live in British Columbia, Canada, in case you guys are wondering. 4 hours give or take away from Vancouver. And it's nice here. It's very forested and there's lakes and stuff like that. Kind of like the last question with like Naboo. But probably Toronto. Toronto is basically like New York's or Canada's New York. And I think that'd be really cool to live there. I'm not sure if I'd live there forever, but definitely for a year or two, I think it'd be pretty cool. Like big city, it has like about 6 million people. And I think it'd be kind of exciting because whenever I got into New York, I've really liked it. I've actually never been to Toronto, so I'm assuming it's sort of similar, especially since the fact they say it's like Canada's New York. So probably Toronto. That would be, you know, live in the city center. I think that's where I'd like to live. But anyways, that pretty well does this Q&A for this basically month. We basically do one of these a month. But again, if you guys have questions for next Q&A, just leave them in the comments and I'll get to them then. And again, thanks again for all the different questions. I really like this one, like the iconic, you know, most iconic Lego minifig, you know, which planet I live in, Star Wars. A number of other ones were really, really good. So good questions. I enjoyed answering them. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. But if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future Ties, Talks, Q&As we do on the channel. Again, we do them basically once a month. But yeah, that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.